Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It is the first day of August, 2022. Summer is almost over. It's the first day of August, 2022. I hope you had a good weekend. Happy Monday to you. I hope that you and your family are safe and healthy today on this Monday. And I hope the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those who are the first responders, like those out responding to the fires, the floods that are going on in the United States right now, those responding to the earthquakes that are taking place in various parts of the earth, and of course, those responding, unfortunately, to mass shootings. Blessings upon them, for they risk their lives every day to save lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the boys and girls, the teenagers who are the victims of sex exploitation, who are the victims of child molestation. Okay. And those also that are trying to help rescue and deliver even adults that are victims, as well as children, of pornography and child pornography, of prostitution, child prostitution, sex slavery, human trafficking, and double curses on those perpetrators, those perverts, and those profiteers who are out here trafficking in this human misery and bringing misery to the earth. Finally, blessings upon those that are homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children with no roof over their head, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Brother, I did a video, maybe it was last week, and it was saying, consider the sources. And we saw, for example, well, before I even get into it, this is bothering me, so that's why I'm putting this video out today. But before I even get into it, let me do something more important. Rest in peace, Bill Russell. Not only was he one of the greatest NBA players ever, and if you're counting it by rings, he was the greatest ever, with 11 rings and 13 seasons. The first black head coach in the NBA. In fact, the first black head coach of any major sport. Champion as a coach and a player. But beside all that, he stood by Muhammad Ali when the whole world was against him for his stand against the Vietnam War. Bill Russell stood by his side. Bill Russell always stood for the rights of his people. And so I say, rest in peace, Mr. Russell. And to his family, I say, condolences to your family. You lost a great one. May he rest in peace and rise in power. Okay, with that being said, I said last week there was a person from Sports Illustrated putting out some BS, speaking basically for Danny Ainge. And we're seeing more of this. And how do we know this is the case? There are certain ridiculous statements that are made that let you know this is BS. For example, aside from that knucklehead that came on last week, there was a couple of other ones on the platform today. Be careful, Knicks Nation. They're always trying to get you for clicks. That's what they're trying to do. And I understand it's entertainment, but this is some real BS, man. So when you hear the Knicks offered Obi Toppin and Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett, and Danny Ainge said no. Number one, why do we know that that is a bunch of BS? Number one, you need to have salaries match. If you're talking about Donovan Mitchell, you're talking about $30 million. You got to come with $30 million. Obi make Obi make 5.5. Let's call it 6. Okay. Cam make about 6. That's 12. RJ make about 8. That's 20. That's not enough. Oh, the Knicks offering Danny Ainge won 6 first-round picks. The only thing some of these guys got right is that the Knicks are ready to walk away. Either you meet the Don's price or it's over. The Knicks could go forward, and then some fool talked about, the Knicks, they get ready to sign RJ Barrett. They got to make a big deal. The Knicks ain't got to make no big deal. They ain't got to deal with nobody. What a lot of these fools see, listen, told y'all, listen here. Some of y'all get caught up in some of these idiots, and I'm just trying to help. When the Knicks signed Kemba Walker, Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose, and Evan Fournier, all of those dudes were signed to contracts that included team options at the end of their deal. Why is that? The Knicks at that time already had a stable of young talent that needed to be developed. And all of these dudes were just placeholders until the development was complete. Now, RJ Barrett, none of their development is complete, but all of them have moved forward. RJ's ready for a starter. Mitch Rob just got signed to a 4-year deal. No team option, 4-year deal. Okay? Then you got your Obi Toppins, who we know is ready to take that next step. And listen, some of y'all still ain't caught this memo. Go back and look at Ian Begley. Now, you want to talk about, and listen to people, watch people that talk about sources. They just say sources. Breaking news, sources. You know what their sources are? Toilet paper. Bull crap. Imaginary, like an imaginary friend, like Walter Mitty up in this. You know what I'm saying? Sources? If I went to Starbucks and dude next to me buying coffee and he said, I heard, I could say sources. There's only 3 real sources out here, and a 4th possible. If we playing spades, you got 3 in the possible. Ian Begley, Shams, Adrian Wojnarowski, and the possible is Mark Stein. All the rest of these cats, bruh, unless you get these 3 saying something, or somebody from the Knicks organization themselves, like Mike Breen, who never says anything. But if you catching it from MSG, okay. Or, of course, from the source itself, the Don. But when they talk about sources, and what bothers me about it, honestly, not only are they lying, they're straight lying. Not only that, they putting out stupidness in the Knicks universe to try to get money for themselves, to get clicks. They ain't worth your time, y'all. Y'all watch who you want. It's entertainment. Even my program is entertainment, but it's called Raw because I come straight. I'm not saying I'm always right. Definitely not. But I'm wrong, I'll tell you. And if I don't know, I'll tell you. But some of these cats out here, man. Nah. The Don will walk away from this deal. He has shown enough to me for me to believe and understand that he knows what the heck he's doing. And he ain't stupid. And he definitely ain't desperate. So all these dudes they signed to these contracts last year, they understood they can move them when they need to. The media didn't understand that. But we understood that because it was 2 years with an option, 3 years with an option. People kept touting the $78 million deal that Evan Fournier signed. It was a 3-year deal with a team option for a 4th. And you know, like, in his 2 years here, he has never exercised a team option on somebody. Did not. So, you know, really, it's a 3-year deal. And he's saying, prove us that we need to bring you back for a 4th year. While we got Quentin Grimes developing. Or we got Mitchell Robinson developing. Or we got RJ Barrett developing. Or we got Obi Toppin developing. Now, somebody will say, and some of y'all have said, well, why did he sign Randle to a 4-year, $100 million deal? Let me explain this to you. Randle was eligible for $200 million. If you actually remember that summer, there was a lot of talk about $200 million. Why? Because he was All-NBA and an All-Star. By the league rules, he was eligible for a contract of $200 million. Now, if you were eligible for a contract of $200 million, would you sign for half of that? You listening to me? If you were eligible for $200 million, would you sign for half of $200 million? And if you did sign for half of $200 million, what does that tell you? That tells me that he wasn't worth no $200 million. And the Don knew he wasn't, but he wanted to reward him for the work he put in, so he gave him $100 million. And let me tell you something about $100 million. It's like $25 million a year. $25 million a year is about 20% of the cap. It may not even be. So you can move that. And now we've already seen Nerlens, Kemba moved, and Burks moved for draft picks. And we got picks. Moved the 11th pick. We got picks. He can move Rose, an expiring deal, anytime he wants to. He's just waiting for the right deal. And we're already heard now from both Wojnarowski, Shams, and Mark Stein that the Lakers are interested as a backup plan in Julius Randle. They wanted Kyrie to match Kyrie and LeBron again. But Kyrie ain't leaving Brooklyn because Brooklyn ain't giving him away. They're not acquiescing to his request after he came to the Nets. Neither they acquiescing to KD lest they get a king's ransom, as they should. So now Randle becomes plan B. And some of y'all think it's just a salary dump. Let me explain. It's more important for the Knicks' long-term sustainable future to develop Obadiah Thompson, Obadiah Toppin than it is to keep Julius Randle. Let me say that again because I fluffed it up. It is more important to the Knicks' long-term sustainable future to develop Obadiah Toppin than it is to keep Julius Randle. They drafted Obadiah. Let me be more specific. Leon drafted Obadiah because he was planning on him being the starting power forward for the next 10 years. But then Randle saved his career, saved his time in New York, having the All-Star, All-NBA season. But now we're understanding in his 8 years, that season was an anomaly. What does anomaly mean? It means it's something out of the norm. It's not something you would normally get. It's not something you can expect to always see. That 7 of the 8 years, yes, he's had 20 points and 10 rebounds and losing. It's not like he Larry Bird, make everybody better, or Magic Johnson, make everybody around him better players. He doesn't do that. He can get his 20-10. He can make his stats look good. He's got talent, but Obi fits better for long-term sustainable winning. And somebody say, well, if Randle's on the squad, a training camp, he's going to start. Yes, he is. But we ain't talking about that. I'm talking about moving him so you can get development for Obi. If they could do that, they're going to do it. But they're waiting to see what happens with Mitchell. And it looks like Mitchell ain't going nowhere. So now the question will become, really, are they going to deal Randle anyway to get Obi his minutes, to get Obi what he needs? We'll see. I think they will. We're going to see. Okay, really, they're looking at, that's why you saw, there was a reason, I keep telling y'all, why all of the top brass of the Knicks were at Summer League. All of the top brass was there. The Don was there. Perrin was there. Worldwide West was there. Scott Perry was there. Even James Dolan was there. Why were they there? They weren't there, I'm telling you, to watch Farron Hunt. They weren't there to watch Farron Hunt. Okay? They weren't there to watch Amir Sims. They weren't there to watch Trevor Keels. No. They wanted to see what they have out of Quentin Grimes, Jericho Sims, and Deuce McBride. Because these 3 players are either going to be trade trips or they're going to be part of the future going forward. Part of the young core that the Don clearly brought out twice this year. So all of these so-called sources that so-called platforms have, be wary of them, Knicks Nation. You can laugh at them, actually. They're really a joke. There's only really 3 in a possible. I done told you who they are. Okay? And as far as what's going on going forward, we're going to see some things let's tell you another thing that y'all might not have heard. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it. Maybe I did. I think I did. But I want to make sure you got it. Brethren, my brethren in Knicks Nation. Ian Begley, one of those books in spades. Ian Begley has already clearly stated that according to his sources within the Knicks management hierarchy, the Knicks are not comfortable starting Evan Fournier beside Jalen Brunson. Not only did he say that, but he also stated clearly that there's going to be a change in the starting lineup because of their uncomfortableness with Evan Fournier and defense. So some of y'all still thinking he's going to start. I don't know where you're getting this imaginary stuff from. Or maybe you just don't believe Ian Begley. Okay. I choose to believe the boy at facts myself. But y'all believe what you want. Fournier not starting. And some of y'all think, well, let's play him off the bench. Oh, so you don't like Cam Reddish? They're not playing together. And if you still got Randle on the squad, Obi is going to be on that second unit, obviously, with Emmanuel quickly, obviously. And you got to play Cam or you're going to trade him something. So, brethren, let's think about these things logically, man. Yeah, Evan Fournier, I like him as far as like, he got the New York vibe. He does. He got the New York vibe. He knows how to handle himself in the big city. I mean, the boy from Paris, right? So you know how to handle himself in the big city. You know how to deal with the media. Evan Fournier's a real one, for real. But for $18 million, you really want the rookie deal, and you want the guy that's going to eventually be your starting two guard for a long time. And Quentin Grimes, you want him there. You want to see what he got anyway. Okay? And if you're going to keep Cam Reddish, you got to have minutes for him. Minutes. The Knicks are not winning a championship in 22-23. We're trying to take the next step. And as I said yesterday, look, if we get a Donovan Mitchell, instead of taking the next step, right, we'll be taking the next step and a half. But we're going to go forward regardless. It's a question of either we taking the next step or the next step and a half. That's all. Step and a half could be important in the development of long-term sustainable winning, which is why Donovan Mitchell's in the conversation. But if Ainge fool keep bringing out his propaganda and having all these so-called sources with this BS, this ain't going to work. The Don going to walk away. And you know what the sign is? Let me tell you the sign that he going to walk away. You see him trade Fournier to another team, or you see him use the 2023 Dallas pick for something else. Once that happens, he's done with the Mitchell situation. Because that is included in this deal. But he ain't giving away the store. He ain't giving away the future. And the Knicks, seriously now, are the only team in the NBA with the assets to get this done and not hurt themselves. They're the only team. And I'm not even talking about as a homer. Name another team that could give away that many picks and not trade away his future. The Knicks could give away up to 4 or 5 first rounders unprotected and still have 5 picks. There ain't no other team like that. Nobody. And no, you can't tell me a bench player like Tyler Hero, 6 man a year, and 3 first rounders that they got to scramble to get is going to get it done over 4 from New York with Fournier, Cam Reddish, and either Deuce McBride or Emmanuel Quickly. Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Nobody has what it takes. Everybody wants to be in the game, but you got to have chips to come to the table. Everybody wants to be in the game, but not everybody competing the tall weeds with the big dogs. You got to have chips to come to the table. There's nobody can come to the table like the Knicks right now. That's the way it is right now. Okay? Now, he can deal with whoever he wants to. And if he wants to trade him to somebody get a lesser package, that's his business. We're going to move forward either a step or a step and a half. Period. But these platforms with all of this BS and just using the Knicks name, it just bothers me, man. That's why I had to put this out today. It just bothers me. And they so-called sources, oh my gosh. I guess it's just entertainment, isn't it? You know, like Maury Povich and all that. People beating up their wives on TV or whatever. You know, people throwing chairs at each other. You know, like Maury Povich and all that drama. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, it's entertainment, right? So let's just, I guess what, I shouldn't take it so seriously. But I'm just a Knicks lover, you know, so what could I say? Anyway, I'll be all right. And hopefully y'all will be all right. Enjoy your Monday. Shalom.